What is up, guys? So I've got another great deck profile for you today, and it's going to be Deskbot's. So this deck is always going to have a massive sweet spot in my heart, just because it was the second deck I ever bought for real. The first deck I ever bought for real was Dark World, but this was the second, and this was actually also the first deck that I ever took to a Yu-Gi-Oh locals. I still remember the first time I took this. Gosh, it was horrible. I was against an old guys player in the finals. I managed to get to the finals against an old guys player, and he completely trashed me. I couldn't get anything on the board. But I really love Despots. I think they're so cool, and I think they're really good archetype for just kind of learning basic combos and stuff, because they're very simple, but then it's like low barrier. They've got kind of a low floor to enter, but the ceiling is quite high. You can do a lot with the deck. You can build it in so many different ways. I mean, it's got so many insane combos, and it's got synergy with so many different archetypes as well. Like, just by nature of it being machine gives it a lot of synergy. The earth attribute gives it some cool synergies. I mean, everything about it's just so awesome. So I really do like Despots. As you can see here, I'm going against an ABC player. Now, we had a lot of games against this guy, and this was the reason why I'm actually showing this specific match, because I do have quite a few, but I feel like the games I had against this guy were really interesting. Just really showcase some of the potential of Despots and some of the combo potential. Like, I did make a couple of misplays in terms of my combo. Occasionally I wasn't too sure where to go because I was panicking, but in general, I mean, I did some pretty cool plays of him, and yeah, it was definitely a really fun experience kind of playing Despots in this scenario. But as you can see here, he's going to scoop as I do my kind of crazy combo there. Moving on to a next game, so we're going to move again. And another great thing I like about Despots is that they have a lot of bomb cards. Essentially, they have a lot of cards that, if they resolve, you win, essentially. So you have things like Urgent Schedule, that gives you so much advantage in Despots. You have things like your Symphonic Engine plus Deskbot free, that's GG. Machine Dupe, that's GG. And I really like the fact that Despots have so many different kind of ways to just kind of instantly win the game and just go into these really crazy combos. One disadvantage, having said that, I would say, is that Despots is quite reliant on their normal summon. Now, you do have a way to double your normal summons with Symphonic Engine, but even in spite of that, if you lose your normal summon, you're not going to be in an amazing position. It's really sad as well that we lost Instant Fusion to 1, because that was one of the main techs that I used to play back in my old Deskbot build. I'd play it at 3 so that I would constantly have like another card that could supplement my normal summon, but only having it at 1, it does suck a bit. Though we do have the advantage of the new master rule making it a lot easier. It means that we don't have to waste as many materials on links. Platinum Gadget is also a really good card. You're going to see me go into that card so many times because it's just amazing for Despots. It's very rare for that card not to kind of resolve and just do huge amounts for you in Despots. So as you can see here, getting in my Despot Jet, summoning so many cards from the deck, and then I'm just kind of beat into his board and not really given the option to do much, because obviously it's ABC and you don't want to let him do that. So now he's going to summon a bunch of monsters out. And then from here, I didn't really know at first what to do, and I was like, okay, you know what I just need to deplete as many resources. So I didn't attack the other two, so I didn't get the search, and I destroyed his field spell. But unfortunately from here, he's just gonna soak up my entire board. This was so nuts when he did it as well. I wasn't expecting it with the kind of the Mega Fleet Dragon, but he didn't have a way to get over Avramax, so he did have to just scoop right there. Then we had another game. So obviously winning the first match, that was quite good, but then we decided to rematch, and now you're going to see here again, look at my hand as well. One thing I love about Despots again is that you, with those bombs, it means that you can play really greedy hand traps and stuff. So like Urgent Schedule plus Forbidden Droplet is a really kind of nice combo in Despots. Now he doesn't put up an amazing first turn board here, and I have Urgent Schedule and Droplets anyway, but yeah, it's great here because I can use the Droplet to send one of my Forbidden cards if I need to, kind of get his back row, and I haven't even used my normal summon, and I've got 2, which means I'm going to be able to do the Despot free combo to summon 2 Despot frees and 2 Despot 2s and get 2 searches off that, which is just pretty insane. So as you can see here, Despot 3 into 2, then Despot 3 into 2 again, and he's just going to surrender. And then the last game that we had before, unfortunately, he did decide to leave after that because it wasn't going so well for him. But yeah, as you can see, again, now my hand here doesn't look amazing, but again, just having that Despot 3 is going to be great. And Despot 4 is another underrated monster, I think. I think the fact that it can pretty much beat over anything is lovely, and then it also kind of helps extend your play. So even if your hand doesn't start off good, you can use Despot 4 to kind of move into a lot stronger of a board. But yeah, as you can see here, he goes into a board, he's going to put up 2 kind of annoying negates. So my focus here is really, I don't care about the Constellar monster. Bouncing a monster doesn't matter because I'm going to Pendulum summon it back out. so I don't care about that. So I just want to bake out that Cyber Dragon Negate, which I have. Then it's about getting rid of his back row, and then it's just as simple as using Deskbot Freeze effect to summon. Deskbot Freeze is going to search, and then I mean from here it's pretty much game, because I've got so much value off of that. So I'm going to summon my Deskbot 4, and he knows from here it's game, because Deskbot 4 is going to get me to summon. So let's get into that deck profile. So here is my Deskbot deck profile. Guys, look, I'm telling you now, this looks a bit janky, but I can tell you for sure it is amazing. So we'll start with the Deskbot monsters. So we've been playing 2 of Deskbot 1, 3 of Deskbot 2, 3 of Deskbot 3, 1 of Deskbot 4, and then 3 of 5 and 6, and 1 of 8. So these are my reasons. Deskbot 1 is really nice because I play 2 of him mainly because of Shaddoll Fusion. I always want to be sending 1 to the graveyard of Shaddoll Fusion, and he synergizes so well. If you pendulum summon, you can get multiple summons from him. If you machine dupe, you can get multiple summons from him. I mean, if you Deskbot 4, you can get multiple summons from him. If you urgent schedule, you can get multiple summons from him. And so because he synergizes so well with the deck, I always really want to kind of have an opportunity to dump at least 1 in the grave and do that effect of kind of special summoning him for free, which is really nice. Then we move on to Deskbot 2. You have to play 3 of him. He searches everything in the deck, not once per turn, and machine dupe on him is insane. With Deskbot 3, your main starter, so you're definitely going to be one play 3 of that. His effect to increase attack is also really, really good at getting over monsters. Just having him and a 1 on field is a 2500 beater in your Deskbot 1. So I mean, he's a really, really, really good monster. And as you can see, a lot of decks are using him to kind of combo off crazily. You've got the 1 Deskbot 4, and he's your utility. He's your secondary kind of out to big threats. So this is another good thing about Despots, because it means cards like Winder and stuff aren't a huge issue for you, because you just beat over them with Deskbot 4. Even if they've got something like an Alistair in hand, Deskbot 4 can easily go up to 4.5k attack if it sends to graveyard Deskbot 8, which is insane. We've then got a 3 Deskbot 5s. This is probably the second best monster after Deskbot 3 in terms of starters. Now, obviously, he has a disadvantage that he's level 5, so he needs to be pendulum summoned or special summoned out of the deck. But he's great for 2 reasons. Firstly, he's level 5, so it allows you for Cyber Dragon plays. But the second thing is that when he's destroyed in the pendulum zone, he special summons a Deskbot monster from your graveyard. Now, this is great because he destroys a spell and trap when he's summoned. So a really good play, obviously, is to summon out your Deskbot 5, destroy another one in your pendulum zone, and then you're going to get a special summon from your graveyard. Or if you use Deskbot Jet to destroy him, you can use Deskbot Jet to summon another Deskbot from the deck. Then Deskbot 5 will trigger and summon a Deskbot from the graveyard. I mean, pluses on pluses. Then we've got the 3 Deskbot 6. This is again mainly because of a target and because it's our low scale. This one is probably the only one that I would maybe change. You could take that down to 1 or 2, but I did occasionally find it a bit frustrating to not see Despots in my hand. I always want to see at least 1, which is why I have kept it at 3. And then we play the 1 of 8. 8 is a good late game card. She gets attack based on Despots in your graveyard. She prevents your Despots being targeted by card effects. And then on top of that, she also can attack twice each battle phase, which is great. So just a really, really nice card to kind of end games. And she's another low scale as well, which is nice. Now then we've got, moving on from our Despots, we've got a Symphonic Engine. So I'm playing a 3-1 engine. The engine is great, but it's not the end of the world. It doesn't resolve. I don't think it wasn't worth playing another mic to kind of guarantee the engine resolving, which is why I'm just doing that 3-1 engine. We've got Gamma as well, because we do have quite a few spell cards that we are going to be activating that if they try and Ash is kind of painful of us. So Shaddoll Fusion and Urgent Schedule, both of those are really nice and we always want those to resolve. Droplet as well to an extent. Then moving on from that, we're going to obviously be having our back row cards. So we've got a Lightning Storm, our Forbidden Droplets, Iron Perms. These are all kind of to supplement our going second. This is again a blind second deck. You guys should know by now I'm into the going second OTK decks. That's my kind of thing. Got Instant Fusion as well. I was considering playing Millionaire Minds Restrict. You can play that, but I just found it wasn't necessary 9 times out of 10 really, but still a really, really good card. Then moving on from that, I'd say the 2 kind of unique techs in this. One, well, not unique actually, to be honest. I'm sure loads of other people are playing Urgent Schedule and Despots, but yeah, so we've got the 1 Urgent Schedule and Despots. But as you can see, and you probably saw my replays, it wasn't so much for comboing, it was more really just for baiting out negates, just because it's a +1. That's the real reason why you play it. And Shaddoll Fusion is a similar thing. A lot of the times people see me activate Shaddoll Fusion and they'll throw a negate out it, but I don't really care if it resolves. It's really, again, just to bait out negates and put a free body on board, because I get the draw Shaddoll Beast. And also, it will search a Shaddoll. If I get a second Shaddoll Fusion in my hand, I can just send it off with a Forbidden Droplet, which is really, really nice. But yeah, that is deck. And then we've also got the 3 Machine Dupe. This card is so frustrating because if it resolves, you'll probably win, but it's probably one of the biggest trick points in your deck, which does suck. Then moving on to the extra deck, so we've got things like Masquerainer, of course, Masquerainer in the Nightmares, Appaloosa and Avramax. These are generic kind of boss monsters in the extra deck. Then Cleafort Genius, really, really good card for Despots. Firstly, because if you resolve it, a machine dupe or something with it, or a pendulum sum with it, it can get you a free search. But then also because it does have kind of niche applications against decks like Sky Strikers for negating back row and things like that, which is really nice. Platinum Gadget is really great in conjunction with Deskbot 2 and Deskbot 1 to an extent, just for getting you free searches and free summons so you can keep extending. And then we've got our Cyber Dragons because they're good, and King of Heavy Industry for the exact same reason. Both of these are just really good kind of generic rank 5s to go into. Then we've got our Dawn Dragster. So what I found is that very often I would have random materials on board with a tuner, and 7 was the number that was coming up a lot. It's very easy to go into a rank 7, so Dawn Dragster was the monster that I thought, you know what, why not just track that in? It's a machine, it's a synchro, easy to put on the board, and it's a free negate to put more pressure on my opponent. So a lot of the times a card I will end on if I don't OTK. Then we've got some instant fusion targets. Sea Monster Theseus, a great card for the deck, and Panzer Dragon for going into Cyber Dragons if I do think I need to. And we've got our El Shador Shekinaga. So yeah, kind of standard extra deck, nothing too special I'd say in there. Then moving on to the side deck, it's really just about dealing with the meta. So we've got our kind of standard combo package, Nibiru and Phantasme. Then we've got our kind of cards that are blowouts. Now these hand traps, I really like them because they will end the turn. A lot of decks can play through Nibiru. Phantasme, it doesn't really do anything to the enemy, it more helps you. But Lancia and Droll will end the turn against a lot of the top tier decks, which is why I really like them this format. And then evenly matched for dealing with back row as well. So guys, that is my Deskbot deck profile. I hope you've enjoyed it. Make sure to like, comment and subscribe, and I'll talk to you all soon. Peace.